For 7 years, every single Mother's Day in this family belonged to one woman, and it didn't belong to the mom raising the little kids. Today, I'm going to show you how one mother-in-law quietly turned 7 Mother's Days into her stage, why her son genuinely couldn't see it, and the moment when everything finally snapped. By the end of this episode, you will be able to name the celebration thief pattern in your own family, understand the nervous system wiring that keeps your husband stuck in the middle, and use a connection-first script to finally protect your Mother's Day or any other special day without blowing up your family. You're sitting at your mother-in-law's dining room table, your 3-year-old is on your lap, she's picking the frosting off her cupcake, and your mother-in-law, she's sitting right across from you where she always sits, and she's opening a gift that your husband picked out for her on Mother's Day. While you sit there with nothing, not even a card, you watch her gush over the necklace that your husband spent 2 weeks choosing, and you realize this is the 7th Mother's Day in a row that hasn't been yours. 7 years watching her pick the restaurant, choose the music in your car on the way to the restaurant. 7 years of your husband's full attention aimed at the woman who raised him, while you, the woman raising his children, sits and smiles like everything is fine. Your throat tightens, your eyes burn, and this ache rumbles through your chest that makes you want to scream, but instead, you just whisper the truth. You don't matter here. But the worst part of all of this is not your mother-in-law. She's been doing this since the day she became a mom. No, the part that guts you is the fact that your husband, the man that made you a mother, doesn't even notice that you're disappearing. This is what I call the celebration thief. And if you've ever had a mother-in-law who makes every holiday, birthday, milestone about herself, today's episode is going to hit real close to home. The real question I want you to listen for is this. What happens to a marriage when one woman owns every celebration, and how do you take your days back without blowing everything up? We're going to talk about why emotionally immature mother-in-laws hijack celebrations, what it does to you, what it does to your marriage when it goes unchecked for years, and what happens when you finally say enough. But before we dive in, hi, I'm Jess, and on this channel, my husband and I, we talk about how do you set boundaries with people that you love without burning down the relationship. All right, back to the celebration thief. Dana and Kyle have been married for 9 years. They have 2 little girls, Nora and Lila, and Dana is pregnant with a 3rd due in a matter of months. Kyle is an only child. His dad left when he was 2. He just left, never turned around, never called, nothing. So it was just Kyle and Lana for his entire childhood. Lana worked 2 jobs, sacrificed everything, and Kyle will be the first person to tell you that he turned out okay thanks to his mom. He absolutely adores his mom. And honestly, so does Dana, or at least she used to. When Dana and Kyle first started dating, Lana was warm, welcoming. She pulled Dana in for long hugs, told her how happy she was that Kyle found someone so good. Dana truly believed she hit the mother-in-law jackpot. But then Dana became a mother and something shifted. Nothing dramatic. It was more like a slow leak, the stuff you don't notice until the ceiling caves in. The very first Mother's Day after Lila was born, Dana figured that she and Kyle would spend the morning together, maybe go to brunch. He would just let her enjoy the day as a new mom. But Kyle had other plans. He told Dana that they were going to his mom's house for dinner. I mean, to Kyle, there wasn't anything wrong about this or anything strange because this is how they always celebrated Mother's Day even before Lila was born. Dana didn't argue. She was 3 months postpartum, running on 0 sleep. So she just figured, okay, if it's dinner, Kyle will definitely have something in the morning and then we'll go over to Lana's. But there was no morning. Kyle slept in. He didn't get up with the baby, and by the time Dana had fed, changed, and dressed Lila, Kyle was already on the phone talking with his mom. He didn't even get Dana a card. He never even said, Happy Mother's Day. Now, Dana's stomach dropped. Of course it did, but she told herself, it's fine. He's just excited to see his mom. This is new. I'm just barely a mom. He'll probably do something later. But he didn't. They got to Lana's and the whole house was actually decorated. Lana had streamers, a cake she bought for herself that said best mom ever. She had her favorite playlist on with all of her favorite 80s songs, and the table was set with her fine china. It was definitely a day to celebrate Lana. Kyle walks in, gives his mom the biggest hug, hands her a gift bag. Lana, she tears tears up, says how blessed she is. All the while, Dana just stands in the doorway holding Lila, watching. It wasn't like she was mad. It was more like, I'm a mother too. Isn't this also my day? She just shook it off, let Kyle and Lana have their moment, and told herself, Lana actually does deserve to be celebrated. I mean, she raised Kyle. She sacrificed so much. One dinner isn't that big of a deal, but it wasn't just one dinner. The next year, it was the same thing. Kyle planned the entire day around his mom, took her to her favorite restaurant, which was actually an hour and a half away, and Dana spent her second Mother's Day in the back seat with their 1-year-old who screamed for 40 minutes on the drive over. So Lana picks the restaurant, what they drink, the dessert, and when the waitress comes over to wish both the women at the table Happy Mother's Day, Lana's like, oh, honey, thank you, but I'm the mom here. She's still learning. She places her hand on Kyle's arm, squeezes it like he's 12, and Dana's face gets hot. She looks at Kyle like, what the heck? But he didn't even look at her. He was just so absorbed and he didn't even flinch. Year 3, same pattern. But year 4, Dana tried something different. She told Kyle 2 weeks ahead of time that she wanted to split the day. Morning, just with them at home, evening with his mom. Kyle said, that's fine, but when he told Lana, Lana called Dana directly, and in this very sweet, calm, quiet voice, she said, sweetie, I totally understand, but Kyle and I have always spent the whole day together on Mother's Day. I mean, since he was little, it's just been our little tradition, and I just don't want to lose that. Dana felt the guilt just hit her sternum like a fist, and so she caved, and they spent the entire day with Lana again. And in case you're wondering, Dana still didn't get anything, not even a card. Year 5, Dana didn't say a word. She has learned by now that it's just not worth the fight. Year 6 was the worst. Lana suggested, and by suggested, I mean announced, that they should go away on a weekend trip to celebrate Mother's Day. She had found a cabin 2 hours away, already checked its availability, and all she needed was Kyle to book it. Kyle said yes before even checking with Dana, and when Dana found out, she was stunned. A weekend trip for Mother's Day for his mom? She told Kyle, I don't want to go, that she would rather spend a weekend at home with him and the girls. They have 2 kids by now. And Kyle, he just looked at her like she had slapped him. What? Dana, it's Mother's Day. She's my mom. I can't just not see her. Dana's like, I'm not trying to keep you from your mom, Kyle, but I'm a mom too. And Kyle said something that just cracked her chest wide open. He said, yeah, but she's been a mom longer. She didn't have anything to come back with, so she just turned around, walked into their bedroom, shut the door, sat down on the edge of the bed, and cried. And they went on that trip. Year 7, Dana is pregnant, exhausted, nauseous, and done. 3 weeks before Mother's Day, Lana calls Kyle to discuss the plan, and Kyle comes to Dana afterwards and tells her that his mom is thinking brunch at the same place that she always likes, and then maybe go back to her place for cake and gifts. And for the first time in 7 years, Dana says no. She doesn't yell it. She calmly says it, very controlled. No. She tells Kyle that she's not spending another Mother's Day celebrating only his mom, that she has been a mom for 7 years and hasn't had a single Mother's Day. She cries when she says, all I've ever wanted was just a quiet morning, lazy in bed with you and the kids, and then to go to your mom's in the evening. She said, I'm 100% fine with that, but I am done giving up the entire day to your mother. Kyle's face changes like Dana is speaking another language he doesn't even understand. He asks her, what am I supposed to tell my mom? And Dana says, the truth, that you have a wife and your wife has children and she's also a mom and she wants to spend part of the day at home, period. He looks down and he's just like, she's not going to take that well. And Dana agrees, but she holds her line. Kyle shifts his weight. He rubs the back of his neck and he just says, like, can't we please just do it the way we've always done it? I mean, she's already planned it. She wants to go do brunch. And there it is. The sentence that tells Dana everything. Can't we just do what we've always done? Translation, can't you just keep disappearing so I don't have to deal with my mom's feelings? But Dana, she does not cave this time. She holds her no. She says that this is important to her too, and that she's been patient for 7 years, and that she needs him to hear her. Kyle nods reluctantly and says, okay, I'll talk to my mom. That night, once the kids are in bed, he goes to call his mom. And Dana listens from the other room, not eavesdropping exactly. The house is really small, and Kyle has his mom on speaker. She hears Kyle say, hey, Mom, so Dana wants to do something a little bit different this year. Just us in the morning, sleeping in and stuff like that. But then we'll come over right away afterwards, and we'll stay all afternoon and all evening. There's a long pause, and then Dana hears Lana's voice. It's tiny but sharp, and she asks Kyle, what do you mean? Like, why would we split the day? We've never split the day. This is our day. Kyle tries to explain that Dana just wants to have some time in the morning. She's pregnant, tired, nauseous. I mean, it's really not that big a deal. And Lana's voice gets higher, and she says she cannot believe Dana's doing this to her. She has been planning brunch for weeks, and she already has everything set at the house for afterwards. And then the line that makes Dana's blood go cold. Kyle, I raised you myself. I gave up everything for you, and now your wife wants to take away the one day of the year where I feel appreciated? Kyle goes quiet. Dana can hear him breathing, and then he says, okay, Mom, let me talk to Dana. He hangs up. He walks into the living room, looks at Dana with that look she's seen 1,000 times, the look that says, please, God, just let this go. And he just tells her, she's really upset. Maybe we could just do a morning thing another day, like a makeup day. Wait, a makeup day for Mother's Day because his mom can't share. And that's where we need to pause, because if you miss what's actually happening underneath, you're going to keep fighting about plans and brunch reservations instead of the real thing that slowly eroding your connection. This is about identity, ownership, emotional immaturity, and once you understand the psychology, I promise you, you will never look at this pattern the same again. Lana is what I would call emotionally fused with Kyle. It's when a parent and a child are so emotionally intertwined that the parent can't experience the child as a separate person with their own life and with their own family. The parent actually experiences any shift in this fused relationship, any movement towards independence or natural development as a threat. Their nervous system literally reacts like they are in physical danger. Now add in the only child dynamic and you have fusion on steroids. When Kyle's dad left and it was just the two of them, Lana began to overly rely on Kyle to take care of her emotionally. He became her sole support system, which we've talked about this so much now is parentification, specifically emotional parentification. Kyle ended up fulfilling Lana's psychological needs. He acted like her confidant, her comforter, and her only reason to get up in the morning. And while this might look like just closeness, like a mother and son, they're super close, it's actually role reversal. And this role reversal can cause significant attachment difficulties well into Kyle's adulthood. Kyle actually grew up as Lana's pseudo spouse. He was her person. Well, he was actually her everything, which means, unfortunately, that Kyle was trained from childhood to prioritize his mom's emotional needs above anyone else. That's including his, and that's also including his wife, and eventually his children. Lindsay Gibson, author of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, she describes 4 types of emotionally immature parents in her book, and Lana fits the emotional parent, the one who instills feelings of instability and anxiety. So Lana pulls Kyle into her emotional world and makes him responsible for regulating her. He learned very young that when mom's upset, it's his job to fix it. When mom's happy, the house feels safe. And when mom cries, something's wrong and it's probably his fault. That training, it doesn't disappear when he meets Dana. It doesn't disappear when he marries Dana, and it doesn't disappear when he becomes a father. It literally lives in his nervous system like a smoke alarm that's been wired all wrong. It goes off at the first hint that his mom might not be happy. Like his body genuinely believes danger is near. It's as if, like this is how his body reacts, it's as if a saber-toothed tiger is heading his way. That's the level of danger it feels like in his body. Now here's where the celebration piece comes in. For emotionally immature people, celebrations are not just about fun. They are proof that they still matter, that they're still loved, and they haven't been forgotten or replaced. when a mother-in-law like Lana hijacks Mother's Day, she's not being selfish in the way that you and I think about selfish. I mean, it looks selfish. No, she's doing something much deeper. She's regulating her own emotional state by ensuring that she stays center of her son's world. Mother's Day specifically is loaded for someone like Lana because it reinforces the one identity that gave her the most worth, motherhood. She sacrificed everything. She did it alone. And Mother's Day is the annual ritual that validates all of her pain and suffering. And if Kyle makes her split that day with Dana, Lana's not just losing brunch, she's losing confirmation that all those sacrifices were worth it, and she's also losing the place. She's no longer the most important woman in his life. She can't handle that because she never developed psychologically that maturity to hold two truths at the same time. I am still his mother, and his wife is also a mother, and she deserves celebration too. I hope you're seeing that this does not make Lana evil. It means that she has a low differentiation of self. She can't separate her own emotions from reality. She also can't separate her emotional state from everybody else's. If she could, she would be able to say, okay, my son, he's spending the morning with his wife and kids. I feel a little sad about that. Change is hard, but that's okay. He'll be here later. That's impossible for someone like Lana. Instead, she thinks, my son is spending the morning with his wife instead of me. That means he doesn't love me. That means she's turning him against me. And that means I am losing him. See, it's the same event, but two completely different internal experiences because of low differentiation. The first example shows you a person who can sit with the discomfort, while the second, which is Lana, has to make it stop immediately so she can pull Kyle back in. And the way Lana does this is through guilt. I raised you by myself. I gave up everything for you. And now your wife wants to take the one day that makes me feel appreciated. That is a missile aimed directly at Kyle's nervous system. She's activating every ounce of programming from his childhood. You owe me. I sacrificed everything for you. If you leave, I'll be alone again. And Kyle's body responds before his brain even has a chance to think. It's actually really interesting. Our nervous system has 3 different states. One where we feel safe and connected, another where we go into fight or flight, and then a third where we completely shut down. When Kyle hears his mom's voice crack on the phone when she talks about sacrifice, his nervous system doesn't stay in that safe, connected space. It drops into fight or flight. His heart rate will increase, his face will get hot, his brain will start scanning for the fastest way to make this stop now. And unfortunately, sadly, the fastest way to make this stop is to get Dana to agree to just do it the way they've always done it. This looks like he's choosing his mom over his wife when really he's choosing survival. The problem is the survival response in his body has been wired all wrong since he was yay high. It says if mom's upset, I'm in physical danger, which you and I know that's not true, but he doesn't know that right now. Now let's go back to Dana and Kyle in their living room. Kyle asks Dana if they can just do Mother's Day the way that they have always done it, and he promises a makeup day. Dana is sitting on the couch. She's pregnant, she's exhausted, and she can feel something shift in her body. It's not the baby. It's way deeper and has nothing to do with the pregnancy. She looks at Kyle and she says, you talked to her for 4 minutes and you're already backing down? Kyle just flinches and says, that's not fair. He's not backing down. He's trying to find a compromise. And Dana asks, what compromise? Because from where she's sitting, the compromise is the same that it's been every year. She gives up what she wants so that his mom doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Kyle sits down across from her, puts his head in his hands and says, I don't know what to do. Dana pauses. She just lets the silence settle in. And then she finally says, I think you do know. More silence stretches for far too long. Finally, Kyle lifts his head, looks at her, and for the first time during this whole conversation, he doesn't look defensive. He's scared, and he says, she was alone after my dad left. Like, I am all that she has. And there it is, the belief that runs this entire show. I am all that she has. I can't disappoint her. If I pull away even a little bit, she'll be alone again, and it's going to be my fault. Dana takes a breath. She doesn't yell, and she just says, Kyle, I hear that. I love you. I love your mom. I know she has sacrificed so much for you, but I need you to hear something very important. I have been a mother for 7 years, and not one Mother's Day have you even gotten me a card. You've never picked me first. And I've said nothing for 7 years because I didn't want to be a wife who comes between a mom and her child. But I'm telling you, if you go back to her right now and you cave on this, you are sending me a very clear message. You are telling me that her comfort matters more than mine, and I will not forget this. Kyle's eyes are red. He's chewing on the bottom of his lip. He always does it when he's trying not to cry. And he finally says, barely above a whisper, "What if she breaks?" And then Dana says, "Then she breaks, and she'll survive. She's a grown woman, Kyle. She survived raising you alone. She can survive sharing Mother's Day." Now here's the fork in the road. This is the moment where everything either heals or fractures. And it relies entirely on whether or not Kyle can do the hardest thing he's ever had to do, which is let his mom feel pain without rushing to fix it. Let's say Kyle holds the line. He goes back to his mom and he says something like this: "Mom, I love you. I can't wait to spend time with you on Mother's Day, but Dana is also a mom and she deserves part of the day. We're going to spend the morning here, our little family, and then right away at noon, we're going to come over in the afternoon all the way through the evening. And this is not about loving you less. It is about honoring my wife as a mother, which you taught me to do. Moms are so important." That last part really matters because what he is doing is he's reframing the boundary as something Lana can relate to as a mom herself. Kyle's connecting the limit to Lana's experience as a mom who raised him to be good to mothers. That's secure the bond in action. You lead with connection before setting the limit, and you're helping the emotionally immature person see that the boundary is something that actually honors them, not threatens them. Now, will Lana hear him? Maybe. I mean, emotionally immature people, they don't process boundaries the way you and I do. They don't hear, "I would like to split the day." They hear, "You are not important anymore." This goes back again to low differentiation. Lana does not have the skills to separate what Kyle said from what she's feeling. If she feels like he's rejecting her, that is her reality, and that is in fact what he's doing. He is rejecting her. That's why when you're talking with emotionally immature people, their reactions can be very volatile, emotional, and not rational. Like Lana might cry, lay on the guilt. She might get cold, hang up. Then she might call her sister, maybe a best friend, and she'll say, "Kyle's wife won't let him spend Mother's Day with me after everything I've done." Does that sound familiar? That is the minion mob from Chris and Melissa's episode. She's not knowingly doing this, but she is recruiting external validation because she can't self-soothe. She does not have the skills to say, "I'm okay, everything is fine, I'm not disappearing." She needs other people to validate her, and the way that she tells her version of events makes her sister or her best friend feel compelled to go talk to Kyle and say, "Come on, get in line. Don't do this to your mother." But here's the difference between this story and Chris and Melissa's. In the last episode, Chris had his whole family mobilized. We had the sister, the aunt, the uncle, the dad. Lana, she's a single mom. Kyle, he's an only child, so the mob might be smaller, but the mechanism is the same. Lana can't regulate her emotions internally, so she has to reach outward. She has no other choice. And when she does reach out to friends, family, social media, whoever, she tells her reality. Whatever she felt, remember, that's the story twist. It aligns with how she felt. And in her version, it confirms that Dana's the villain and Lana's the victim. If Kyle can hold through the sister or the cousins or whoever, whatever family Lana reaches out to tell her version of events, if he can hold steady, maybe let the phone ring, not answer, or if he answers, he can say, "This is between me and my mom. I appreciate your concern, but I'm not discussing this with you." That would be him stepping out of the drama triangle. Then he's going to pass the test. He's going to make it, and he's going to prove to Dana that he can tolerate the discomfort without collapsing back into the role he played as a kid. But there's a version of this story where Kyle can't hold it. Let's say Lana calls the next day crying, saying that she's barely slept. She's sick to her stomach. She doesn't understand why Kyle would do this to her. This is all she has. She doesn't have a husband to celebrate with her or other kids to call. It's just him. It's always been him. Let's actually play this out as if this is what happens. So Kyle, he'll hang up the phone, his chest will be on fire, he's probably gonna have short, shallow breaths, he'll be feeling dizzy, every nerve in his body is going to be screaming, fix this fast, she's hurting. And before he can even think this through, he's gonna walk into the living room, look at Dana with that look he always has when he just wants her to let it go, and he's gonna say, "She sounded terrible. I've never ever heard my mom this upset. Can we maybe, just maybe, I don't know, go there for brunch and then come home and I'll cook you your favorite dinner." A makeup dinner after brunch with his mom on Mother's Day. Dana sits there and she feels this strange sense of clarity. Kyle isn't making a decision here. He is reacting. He's following how he has been programmed. And no matter how many conversations they have, his body will override his brain every single time his mom cries. And that clarity is devastating to Dana because she loves Kyle. He is such a good person, such a good dad, rubs her feet after a long day, is so good with the girls, but he can't hold a boundary with his mom, which means Dana's peace will always come second to Lana's comfort. Here's what I would say. So remember, this is a morning after. Kyle has come back after having a phone conversation with his mom saying, "I'm crying, I can't eat, my stomach hurts, why would you do this to me? I have no other family, you're all that I have." So Kyle has told me this, asked if we can do a compromise. This is what I would say. "Kyle, I need you to really hear me. I have given you 7 Mother's Days. 7. Every single one of them has belonged to your mom, and I've never had not one day where I felt like you saw me as a mom and honored me. I've asked you for years for just a morning, not a whole day, just a morning, and you can't even give me that because your mom cried on the phone. So here's what I need you to understand. If you cave on this, I will not be mad, but I do need you to know what it tells me. It tells me that after 9 years of marriage, 2 little girls and a baby on the way, your mom's tears hold more weight than mine, and I can't build a family on that." And then I would stop talking. I would let that sit in because this is Kyle's moment. This is where he either steps up into the marriage or he steps back into his childhood. And Dana cannot make this choice for him. This is all on Kyle. Here's what I want to talk about now, because this isn't just about Mother's Day. It is about celebration entitlement and is one of the most overlooked patterns in emotionally immature family dynamics. Celebration entitlement is when a family member, usually it's a parent or an in-law, believes they have permanent ownership over certain holidays, milestones, or events because of their role in the family. And they do not believe, just growing, getting married, expanding your own family. They don't believe they ever have to share that day. So Lana doesn't believe she's sharing Mother's Day. Lana believes she owns it. She's earned it. She sacrificed for it. And anyone who challenges that ownership is taking something from her. This shows up in so many ways beyond Mother's Day. It's the mother-in-law who takes over the grandchild's first birthday party and makes it about herself, or the one who expects to have the first phone call after a pregnancy announcement, or the one who buys the baby's coming home outfit because that's just the way she's always imagined it. Or it's the mother-in-law or parent who insists on hosting every single Christmas on the holiday instead of alternating it and being fair with the other family. Every single one of these behaviors comes from the same root. I need to be at the center of this moment to feel safe, loved, and relevant. And if I'm not at the center, it means I'm being pushed out, replaced, forgotten, abandoned, and that feeling is so terrifying that I will make decisions so impulsively that I don't consider the impact because my brain has never built that skill. For only child moms like Lana, this is magnified because the son is the center of their entire emotional world. They don't have other kids to spread the emotional investment across. Everything they are as a mother, every sacrifice, every late night, every lonely Christmas when an ex didn't call is all wrapped up in one relationship. So when that one child starts building a life with someone else, starts celebrating someone else, that mom just doesn't feel sad. She feels existentially threatened. Like if she loses this, she will lose everything. And here's the part that breaks my heart. It's not like Lana doesn't love Dana. She just genuinely can't tolerate the emotional experience of her son sharing his attention. She doesn't have the internal architecture. It was never built. She never learned how to share the spotlight because she was too busy surviving a childhood, surviving raising a child on her own, just surviving. And she has put everything into the mom basket. So if she is not everything to Kyle, who is she? That question terrifies her, and she will burn down every single Mother's Day for the rest of her life to avoid having to answer it. Whew. All right, let's talk about what you can do if you see yourself in this story. First, the boundary conversation with your partner. Here's the thing about setting boundaries with your husband. If you go in hot, if you say like, she's ruining my life, he's going to shut down like that and you're not going to get anywhere. Your husband cannot hear you. When he's activated, he can only survive. That is the way he's been programmed. So the way in, with my experience for the last almost 15 years, is through connection first. So this is a script that you can try. I need you to know how much I love your mom. I respect everything that she does for you. She does for us. She is an incredible woman. And I'm so grateful that our children have her as a grandparent. Start there. You just did two things. You validated his mom, which keeps his nervous system nice and calm because he doesn't think it's going to be a fight. And two, you also signaled this conversation is safe. You're not coming for her. So now his nervous system is engaged and he can actually hear you. Then you move into your limit. So I'm just going to keep using this example. For 7 years, I have not had a Mother's Day. Not one. Every single one has been spent with your mom at her house or doing whatever she wants, going to restaurants she wants, listening to music she wants, with no one celebrating me. I've never said anything because I just didn't want to cause problems, but I'm a mom too. I'm the mother of your children, and I just need one morning. That's all I'm asking for. One morning. And then I'm going to do the reframe. This isn't about taking something from your mom. It's about adding something for me. She'll get you in the afternoon and all evening, but all I need is a morning where I feel like a mom in my own home with my own family. And honestly, your mom of all people should understand because she knows what it's like to want to feel appreciated for the hardest job in the world. Notice what you don't say. You don't call his mom selfish. You don't accuse your husband of being a mama's boy. You connect, you state the limit, you reframe it in a way that actually honors his mom's experience, and that's how you set a boundary without burning down the relationship. But then there's the harder conversation if your husband caves. If after all of that, he comes back and he can't hold the line, for me personally, I would let my husband know, okay, that tells me something, and I'm not going to be going to your mom's on Mother's Day. You can go, but I will be staying home with the girls. And next week, we are going to be booking a couples therapist because I can't keep being the only person in this marriage that thinks my feelings matter. And then I would mean it. I would stay home. I'm not being petty. I'm choosing quietly myself. And here's what happens next. Let's say this is actually what happens with Dana and Kyle. Let's say Kyle goes to Lana's, and in the first time in like 9+ years, Dana's not there and neither are the girls. Lana's going to say, where are they? Where is everybody? And Kyle is going to have to answer that question. And whatever he says, he's going to have to feel it. He's going to have to feel the absence and the weight of his wife and children home on Mother's Day while he is at his mom's house away from them. Sometimes people don't change until they can actually feel the consequence. Before we sign off, I want to make sure we talk about Kyle because hopefully you're not seeing him as a bad guy. Kyle doesn't know he's doing this. He just knows when his mom's upset, his body goes into fight or flight and he has to make it stop. It's a nervous system reflex, a 35-year-old pattern that was installed when he was just a little boy, sitting across from his mom when she was crying at the kitchen table, and he was learning that his only job was to make sure that his mom was okay. So when Dana sets a boundary with Lana and Lana cries, Kyle is not thinking what's fair or what's right or what his wife needs. His nervous system is back at that kitchen table. So what Dana sees is a 37-year-old husband looking annoyed at her, but what she doesn't feel in that moment is every cell in his body is screaming, do something right now. Like, mom is hurting and this is your fault. I'm not excusing his behavior. I'm trying to help us understand why he does it, but that doesn't mean that Dana has to accept it. She can hold compassion for his history and hold the boundary for her future at the same time. But here's the hard truth. Kyle's history has to heal, and Dana can't help him do it. I mean, she can point him to therapy. She can explain the dynamics. She can share episodes with him. But at the end of the day, this is on Kyle. Kyle has to be the one who looks at the pattern and says, holy cow, like this isn't working anymore. I need help. Some men can do it. And some men never get there. Some men spend their entire marriage managing their mother's emotions while their wife slowly disappears. Here's what I want you to know. If you see yourself in Dana, you are definitely not selfish for wanting to have a day that honors all mothers, and you're not the villain for setting boundaries with your mother-in-law, even though everyone in the family acts like you are. The guilt you feel when you speak up is not evidence that you are wrong. It just shows you that you also have training, that you prioritize everyone else's comfort over your own, and that training started long before your mother-in-law ever entered the picture. And if your husband can't hold a boundary with his mom, he's got some work to do. And if I were you, I wouldn't sit around forever hoping he will. I would focus on deciding what I can accept, what's my breaking point, and what kind of example do I want to set for my children, because they're watching. They're always watching. If you have daughters like Lila and Nora, they're learning what it's like to be a mom in this family. Are they learning that mom gets celebrated, honored, seen? Or are they learning that mom gives up what she wants so no one else has to be uncomfortable? If you got a son like Dana and Kyle do on the way, he's going to grow up watching the way Kyle treats Dana and the way he relates to his mom. And that's going to shape his understanding of what a husband is supposed to do and what his wife is going to deserve. If Kyle spends every Mother's Day catering to Atlanta while Dana sits in the corner, that little boy could grow up and do the exact same thing to his wife. This isn't just about a brunch, it's about breaking a cycle. So where does Dana and Kyle's story end? Honestly, I don't know. Depends on Kyle. Whether or not he can do the deep, painful, terrifying work of looking at his relationship with his mom and saying, I love her, but the way I've been showing up for her has been at the cost of my wife, and that is not okay. Again, some men can get there with lots of time and lots of therapy and a wife who can hold steady through it all, and some men never get there. They stay fused with their mothers forever. They keep choosing peace with her over choosing partnership with their wife. And one day, they wake up in an empty house because their wife has finally decided she's done disappearing. I don't know which version Kyle becomes, but I know which version Dana deserves. Remember that question from the beginning? What happens to a marriage when one woman owns every celebration, and how do you take it back without blowing up everything? If you have watched this entire episode and you have tears running down your face because you have lost count of how many holidays belong to her instead of you, then here is your action step this week. Because your pattern might not be Mother's Day. It might be Christmas, birthdays, every milestone. Have the conversation, not about the next holiday, but about the pattern. Sit down with your husband once the kids are asleep and say, I need to talk to you about something that I've been carrying for a really long time. I feel invisible in moments that are supposed to be celebrating me. I've been quiet about it because I don't want to cause problems, but staying quiet is causing a different kind of problem. It's causing me to lose trust in our partnership, and I need us to figure this out together. And then listen, watch his face, feel his energy. Is he leaning in, pulling back? Is he hearing you? Is he already crafting a defense? Is he present with you, or is he already thinking about, oh, how is my mom going to take this? His response will tell you what you're working with. And then you get to decide what your next step is. If he says, you're right, I'm sorry, what do you need from me? Then you got something to build on. Maybe get into therapy together, start working on this enmeshment pattern so it doesn't keep ruining your marriage. If he says, I think you're overreacting, then I think you have a bigger issue. And if I were you, I would get professional help to help me navigate it. Because what he's saying is that he doesn't have the tools yet to see what you see. And if he says, I can't do that to my mom, well, then you know. And knowing is painful, but it's also powerful. Once you know what you're working with, you can stop waiting for something to change, and you can start actually making decisions based on reality instead of hope. All right, I'm Jess. I'm your boundary big sister. I've been doing this for nearly 15 years, and some of the hardest work, it has not been in my office. It's been in my own home, in my own marriage, holding the line when every part of me wanted to give in just to keep the peace. My husband and I, we know what it's like to be called the problem just for having boundaries. We know the grief intimately from watching relationships change just because we refuse to cave. And we know the quiet pride that comes from looking at each other and knowing that we didn't fold. Today wasn't just about Mother's Day. It's about whether you believe you deserve to be seen, celebrated, and chosen, even when choosing you makes someone else uncomfortable. You do. You deserve that. And your kids, they need you to claim it. That's the truth I want you to carry. Boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself. They're about showing our kids what it looks like to be a person who knows their worth. If this helped, hit subscribe, hype this video, and share it with someone you know that is feeling invisible on Mother's Day or any other day in the year. She needs to hear that she's not crazy and she's not alone. I'll see you in the next one.